Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
Welcome to another episode of Inside the Firm. I'm here with Al, myself, who travels around the world, most notably just to Fargo. Gore, Lance, I feel like you go more places than me, but we can't even list them all. We have a great show for you today. Owning, operating, and successfully leading a construction company takes a special person. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what the Fed and Treasury are doing. Hopefully, mortgage rates will come down. We'll see. And then we have Michael Travis read. So great show. I will kick us off with reading. If you want to get your staff or yourself on a consistent Revit system that will make you more efficient, make you more responsible, make you have more rewards, model like it gets built, go to revitrocketship.com. Check it out. It's the best way to learn Revit. That's just not me saying it. It's people who have learned Revit before, relearned our system, and said, why am I not doing it this way? This is the way to go. revitrocketship.com.
ARCAT stands for Architects Catalog, but it also stands for no registration, no signups, just instant access to thousands of free CAD details, specs, BIM, and product information. It's the easiest way to get the resources you need without the hassle. Visit arcat.com. That's ARCAT.com today and get started. No strings attached. Back to you, Al Gore.
Okay, I'm going to pull up, and you are too, the first one, which is...
Yep.
Why
the labor market? Why the labor market could be the only hope for another Fed rate cut. We'll see. We'll see how the unemployment numbers come now that the federal employees are getting gutted. 40,000 freaking resignations yesterday. Amazing.
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of waste and abuse going away. So basically, the amount of money that's printed, and I don't think the inflation is going to go. It seems like it's pretty steady.
Yeah.
Seems like it's pretty steady.
Seems like it's leveled out. Is
out.
that what that's how I would describe it.
And then the dual mandate is not only that, but then making sure that there's full employment. So that's what they're saying in this article, that if the employment rate goes up, unemployment rate goes up, that could be a reason for the Fed to cut. Again, I don't see a cut in February, maybe March, maybe April. But that actually, Americans grow wary of jumping jobs. Oh, going from job to job. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to track where you're at in the article, but whatever.
No, it's fine. It's just that graph.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quits and hires. Hire rate, quit rate. So the quit rate is going down, and the hire rate is going down. Another thing that's interesting.
Okay.
Well, that means like, hey, if you quit, it's not like the hiring rate is going up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just experienced this at one of the companies. Like, hey, go ahead, do it.
Yep.
Good luck.
The other thing that I've heard with tech companies is they're not laying off, but they're not hiring as much because AI agents, they're thinking are going to be able so that you can, as an employee, manage multiple AI agents so you become more efficient, so you don't have to grow as much. Sure. You don't have to pay as much, right? Okay, but that's only one side of the marketing of the mortgage coin. The other thing that someone on an airplane last time when I was flying to whatever thing I was speaking at, guy was trying to explain to me, and he boiled it down to it's not just the Fed rate. It's the Treasury rate that affects the mortgages too.
Okay.
Because it's all interrelated.
Is that the second article?
That's the second
article.
article.
Trump Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent relieves some pressure on the Fed.
Yep. So essentially, when these financial...
Is there a chart here we care about?
Nope.
Okay.
These financial wizards are doing all their moving the money around. They're deciding in which buckets to put it in. And one of it can be essentially, government bonds. And if that rate is higher, to entice basically, loaning, that rate also needs to be higher. So if the government treasury bonds interest rate is lower, that means that basically interest rates for your mortgage can go lower as well. And the reason why they're going so high on the treasury is because people are not convinced that the government's going to be able to pay this back. It's dysfunctional and all that. That's why, hey, it's really, really good if you can cut a lot of wasteful spending so that you don't have to pay back for things that aren't giving you a return, aren't doing that what the government should do, and you can spend money more efficiently.
Yeah.
So basically, the president and the Treasury are working on bringing the Fed Treasury 10-year rate down, and that might trickle into mortgages too. But we'll see. We will see.
Well, the big curveball is in this past week. It's been 2 weeks since we had a show, so this will be, there's a lot of news that got missed, and one of the pieces is uncovering all of this fraud from Elon Musk and the Doge stuff. USAID news is pretty substantial, like 8 million. Was it 8 million or 8
for political? Yeah,
over to Politico and just all kinds of craziness.
Us paying a good portion of money for the BBC, like why we're paying for the British Broadcasting Company media, like why? Yeah. And that's not even like the controversial, like the crazy stuff, Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, on to some construction stuff and thoughts. When you step into the employer role and the CEO role and all of that, right? A lot of the best ones, I think, it kind of harkens back to Steve Jobs clip we shared a few months ago, whenever it was, Elon Musk, and the fact that these folks they started doing the work, and then they did the work really well. And then eventually they had to start managing people. And then to be a really good CEO, they have to literally be able to go down and do coding themselves. So it's the same thing with me and Al. I still draw. Al still contracts, pounds, moves materials around job sites and does stuff like that if he needs to. So, but you as a CEO, then you can't lose focus about but why am I the CEO? What makes me different than the managers below me, than the production people below me? And this is something I've struggled with in the last maybe 4 or 5 years of when we try to bring people up who are production into management and then they just touch and start wading their toes into doing CEO kind of stuff, going out and getting the work, right? Being salesmen. And so I found this 1 week ago, this came across my LinkedIn feed, as you can see up on the screen here. Scott Kimpland says, ask 10 key employees in the construction industry, in a construction company, if they would like to have an opportunity to become an owner in the company. 9 of them will probably say yes, but only a small fraction are likely to be good owners. Most only see the perks, benefits, and toys that often come with running a business, but very few see the challenges, risks, and many sleepless nights that come with being an owner. Owning and operating a successful, leading profitable growth in a construction company takes a special person. The ones who do this well are a special breed. Why do you think that is, Al?
Why are they special?
Why are you a special breed? But also the owner of an architecture firm. What are these characteristics? That's really what I'm trying to get to. Is okay, if you're listening to the show and maybe you are a student, an employee, you're thinking about becoming a CEO at some point. What are some things that people can either recognize in themselves or try to work on and become? Because I do believe people, if they really want something, they can go out and get it if they have enough discipline, energy. They got to have some raw talent. And you can if you're a bad public speaker, for example, you can become a good public speaker. You just have to try.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll just name 2 that maybe that people can think about and help cultivate.
Okay.
One is that you have to be a catalyst, which means you have to be able to react to something, right? And that reaction to something is often the amount that catalyst has a reaction is your own creativity and your own passion. How can you infuse your own creativity and passion to things that are happening, right? So you can see an opportunity or look for an opportunity because you are a catalyst and then go after that opportunity. And then I think the second thing that you have to have is you have to have perspective, right? And I'm getting to your, employees becoming managers and managers looking up and then going up. And it goes back to when we talked about how the Army operates and what people look inwards and what people look outwards. Like, you have to be able to see the landscape of what's happening and what might happen in the future, and then be able to delegate inside. Hey, now we're taking this path, right? Okay, it's a year later. Now we're taking this path. A year later. Okay, now we're taking this path. And if you don't have either one of those, the perspective to see when to switch paths or the catalyst to realize, that there is a different path, then you're just going to be doing the same things over and over again. You're not going to grow. You're not going to be adaptive, right? You're not going to be able to compete in a challenging world.
Yeah, and then exactly. And then the risk tolerance. The risk tolerance. The risk tolerance is so real. It's so real. Yeah. After a while, you even get hardened by dealing with attorneys. And you get certain letters and you go, whatever, because you're just a seasoned person. So there's just so much of experience. The comment section was really good too. So Corey Thomas Fist says, this is an important point. The industry keeps selling that everyone can build their own company, and the trades, owning and running a construction company, are completely different skill sets than what is used to build a project. Scott replied, very true. There are a lot of people that are very good at building projects, but couldn't build a business. However, on the other hand, I know many owners of construction firms that started out at the bottom, started a company, and built a great business. Yep. Right? It's like being in the trenches and building up in that kind of a way. So stuff to think about if you're just, you got to figure out how, if you don't have a good risk tolerance, that's, I think, one of the big key ingredients. And then do you have the fortitude to make good executive decisions? Can you figure out a way to train yourself and get on that track of good executive decisions that other people won't? Try not to be overly reactive.
Yep.
I think there's a level of stoicism you have to have with the whole process, and you need to look like that calm, cool leader. You can't be yelling at people. Don't be yelling. It ain't gonna help at all. It has nothing to do with good leadership.
Yeah.
Even especially if you're the owner. If you're the owner of a property, a business, it doesn't whatever. Just because you're the owner and writing checks, that doesn't give you a license to go out and mistreat people. What it does give you is it gives you the authority to set expectations, make rules, and lead the team, hopefully with a cool, calm head that people can respect. But if you start going in and yelling and getting crazy, you're just creating a hostile environment. Yep. First of all, if you're an employer, good luck retaining employees.
Yep.
If you're the owner of a project and you're creating that hostile environment, good luck getting subs or contractors or people, whoever you're hiring, to come back willingly and happily.
Yep.
And then making a nice product for you.
Yep.
It ain't going to happen.
And do you know what I think where people get confused, right, is that they look at Steve Jobs or Elon Musk and they say these are hard driving, crazy people. But here's the difference is that, because I've read at least 2 autobiographies of Elon Musk, and it's not yelling. It's not yelling. It's multiple times where people are pissed off at him because he's looked at their code and said, this is not good enough. You no longer work here. Yeah. It's not yelling or whatever. They might be mad because he thinks that they're a bad coder. But here's the other thing too. And we talked about this a little bit on our school board, is that one of Elon Musk's talents is that he makes his companies mission driven, right? So if you want to go to Mars, let's say you want to go to Mars, there's only one company that's actually making progress towards it. There's only one. The other ones are
NASA?
Not NASA. Not NASA. Not Boeing.
For the amount of fraud they're going to expose in that freaking...
Yep. So when Elon Musk says, hey, we work 60 hours here, right? You are self-selecting for that because hey, I could go work somewhere else 40 hours, but I really want to go to Mars, right? Or I really want to make electric batteries, or I really want to make the government efficient, right? So it's not you're getting hired. Let's say you don't care about government efficiency, right? and now you're forced to work with us for 80 hours. No. You wanted to. So like that's where it combines, and it makes sense with that mission focused, and that you have the freedom. You don't have to work for those companies.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to.
It's
no big deal.
Yeah.
You can go work for NASA.
You can.
Yeah.
Yep. Some people love that stuff. Cool. We have another reading. We have a new reader, everybody, and I'm really excited about it. A repeat new reader. That's the way I should say it. Yeah. Michael Travis, super fan. He's given Jason Altman a run for his money, frankly. Okay. And I just got to say that Jason Altman, if you want to do a little reading, want to send it in? We'll play it on the show. Here we go. This is a reading from Michael Travis.
Greetings inside the firm. A reading. Because it's good, because it's original, you can't ignore it. We live in a world where it's too much data, there's too much information, there's a total information overload. Anything you do has to cut through that firstly. It's got to get people's attention. It can be amazing and boring, and no one's going to look at it because they don't dedicate more than 5 seconds into something. We get people in those 5 seconds. You couldn't swipe or scroll. You were like, huh? What? What is this? I haven't seen this before. This is weird. That was a hook. And then once you get hooked, it's like, okay, you got my attention, but what is this? Is it any good? Has it got a thing? Or is it just an empty veneer, a shell? Nothing. DJ High Tech of Die Antwood. Cheers. Cheers.
Huh.
Is Die Atwood, is that the music group? Or is it? Yeah. So is there substance behind the hook?
Okay. I have a related tangent on this for you and Michael, okay?
Yep.
I'll go first, okay? And it's so, I'm just like, we're getting a lot of inquiries from the web. I'm getting multiple a week. Al is too, because we've been working so hard on the website, public outreach in that way, being visible, all the other ways that we're trying to, pull work in the free market here in the private sector. And I like, no matter what message we put out, I'm like, gosh, how was that misinterpreted?
Oh, sure.
So one of the things we've been getting lately is, and I'm like, do we really look like that big of a firm? Goodness. They're like, yeah, you just do huge houses. She goes, a potential client. And we're sitting in the sales meeting, and I pull up the website. I go, no, these are all, like, is 2,000 big to you? She's like, oh, no, I didn't see that. The stats are right there on every single one. So, like, it's so interesting. Like, as somebody who co-markets the firm with Al, just like the feedback you get from the general public, it's like your message is never. Like, I don't know what percentage it would be, but like, it's a little frustrating, but just also interesting. It's like, this is the message I'm putting out. This is who we're saying we are. But then your reaction, general public, to it is like, I didn't think about that, right?
Yep.
How do you get like so when you go to these sales meetings, you just have to ask. If you're operating like us, where we're getting a lot of new one-time clients, and we've always been that way, we'll probably be that way for a while. Like we have plenty of repeat clients and everything, but we get so many new ones, especially with being like a transplant or destination state. And if you're in that position too, like as an owner listening or somebody in that way, like you got to be asking about, like, how did you hear about us? What was your impression? Why did you contact us? You just probe them because like that's your feedback loop with marketing.
And at first I had a struggle with the concept that was brought up, because it's like, what do you mean no substance behind the hook? Because a lot of times we'll have different pitches, but one of our pitches boils down to, like, we are a very fundamental, responsive firm that knows what we're doing via the construction, via the F9 principles and all that, and I can't even explain like how deeply it is ingrained in our culture, because it would be a long talking without hearing from the client. But I have an example for a hook with no substance. all those Pepsi or Coke commercials where it's someone singing and dancing and saying, buy this Coke, or, Coke and Pepsi is for world peace or whatever they're for. They're selling sugar water in plastic bottles. Like, none of this is good. Like, it is okay. Like, oh, you go to a party, you have a soda or something like that. But in general, news alert, everyone should know this. Like, sugar water is bad for you. Like, really super bad for you.
Aren't you shocked? Like, I am so shocked. I quit Mountain Dew when I was like 21 or 22. And now I'm 42. Al, by the way, happy birthday, Al. Happy 40th birthday, Al.
Thank you. Thank you.
I turned 42 in 3 days, and I'm just shocked when I see grown, well-educated adults that are drinking soda. I am just shocked by it.
Well, yeah, so I was up in Fargo, career fair. It was super fun. I've just been drained, just a whole bunch of work. Anyways, they give free lunch. It shocked me. I don't even know what the alternative was. Yeah, they had ham sandwiches and whatever. And then they had coffee and water. And then they had a bunch of cans of different soda.
Insane? I just think it's insane.
Yeah, and
I can't believe it. Highly educated, like that all the people that were up there in that group were like, these are all people with a minimum of a bachelor's degree, right?
Oh, easily. Yep. This is what confused me.
It's just further proof, like the more money and more education you throw at a society, like I'm not sure it actually makes a more educated society.
But so I'll give you some architects some credit here, though. So for some reason, I went to 3 different speaking events, spoke at 3 different speaking events last year. Each one of them, they fed me somehow. I don't remember just cans of soda being out. So I don't even know what they had, but it didn't alarm me like this last one. I normally just grab a water or a spark. I don't even know, coffee or something like that. But I guess, too, like some of them are dinners and you can just order drinks. Okay, people are drinking drinks. But for lunch, 3 events, they all fed me lunch. I had no idea what my options was, but it wasn't just a bunch of sodas. I'll put it that way.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. Cool. All right. I mean, that's all we got for you this week. Short and sweet. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to wish Al a happy birthday. Don't forget to wish me a happy birthday. Don't forget to send in your readings, send in your fan mail, all the good stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow on the YouTube. By the way, the growth there has been phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for building a really good base. We're having a lot of people listening on YouTube now versus SoundCloud and the terrestrial apps. So I'm thrilled about it because, like, diversity is our strength. I say that all the time. See you next week.